welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so
so
blessed
much.
to be here.
It's been seeing you prosper in your own field. And how did you be part of this conversation, Soul Seva, where we really just talk about things that enrich the soul and help us discover what soul is.
Yeah.
Whether it's talk about soul mission, soul purpose, soul, kind of like thriving. Where does your soul thrive? And we have these conversations to get people to understand the essence.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we are just souls having a human experience after all.
We are.
And I think we take ourselves too seriously. And so we need to dispel the thoughts of all those things and actually get to like real stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a real conversation with you today.
Yes. I think I'm ready. I think.
Well, I think we shall see. Like, I think we just, there's like, we are ready when the placement is there. Yeah. We think that we're not ready, but if you're being placed, I think, by divine order in the hand of, orchestrated by God, whatever keynote you give them.
She. We always say she. We have to say she. Come on.
She does. I think it's always this like mother, Mother knows when you're ready, and I think we just come in a place. I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, how did I get here in this place?
Oh, I honestly, that's kind of one of the things that I say to myself probably the most, where I'm like in my shop and I'm like, oh, okay, here I am.
Yes.
How did I get here?
Yes.
You know, and sometimes even just tracing back, you're like, oh yeah, but this wouldn't have happened if this didn't happen. So I think timing and like alignment is very, very important when it comes to that, definitely.
What would you say I wonder if there's a frame on, if this didn't happen, this wouldn't be here. What are the kind of like key things that if they hadn't happened, you wouldn't be? So we should give a little summary of like the background.
Yeah. Who are you, Mary?
For a long time, like I don't ask these like, world questions. I'm like, what's your
Tell me about
But in the worldly running of what we do, and we are, Mary, you run Sam's Cafe.
Yeah.
And it's been.
It's been fun. It's really busy. It's a good little spot, but it's just a community spot, and I think that's kind of why we both connect, because I think for me especially, it's very much about community. It's about bringing people together, making people feel seen and heard, and I don't think we offer space for that much in our current climate. So I definitely think that's one of the main goals of it. But in terms of your question, going back to that, like in terms of steps and things that happened, I guess probably randomly starting with moving to Australia, because I'm English, if you can't tell by my accent.
Yeah. What was the decision?
That was not a decision-making process. That was, I'm traveling. So when I was 23, me and my best friend just made the decision, let's go traveling. And that again was another series of kind of like situations.
It's always been a bit spontaneous.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I've always not wanted to. I've always wanted to be kind of like, I am doing this and I'm following these steps, and because I thought my younger self thought that was the key to success. Thought that like, I don't know, doing the status quo was kind of what was gonna align me to success, but it wasn't, and I had to kind of be true to myself at a point in time, and I was like, I'm gonna go traveling. And so me and my best friend, we traveled for 3 months around Southeast Asia, which was phenomenal. But prior to that, we kind of made a decision, we're like, we're gonna need some money at some point. Where should we go? My best friend had family in Mildura. I might be getting that wrong, but she had family somewhere in Victoria.
So that's literally
out that. We didn't even know where we were going. We literally looked at a map of England and a map of Australia, like, same size, surely. We were like, it's going to be like an hour away, surely, We literally, honestly, had no idea.
Clearly.
But the reason we chose Melbourne, though, the only reason we chose Melbourne, it wasn't because we thought the city was cool, we thought this. We literally only chose Melbourne because we were like, oh, she's got family in here. So we flew in and we were like, oh,
it's in the
way
sticks.
too far away. So I kind of just settled here, really. And I don't know. I think
Australia was fun.
Australia was home, and I think Australia became home because I found myself here, And I think in your early 20s, you are very much like, you're very susceptible to kind of your environment you know, and I recognized actually, like, I just feel more myself here. I feel more at peace here. I feel more calm here, and I felt happier here. And for me, that was kind of the guiding light, because I'm no longer gonna like chase at a learning career or whatever that might be. I'm gonna actually like focus on actually what's making me happy. Where am I? Where do I feel safe? You know, and this is where I felt safe.
No.
So yeah, so I stayed here, and I stayed here for a long time. And then I guess in terms of the journey of Sam's, so my cafe is named after my father.
Oh,
Sam. Yeah, so
that's cute.
Yeah.
Tell me the backstory of that.
So I guess that's it. Oh, he massive significant figure in my life. Like, he was just a dream human being. Very kind, very conscientious, very just aware of his surroundings and the people around him. And I definitely learned a lot from him. But he unfortunately passed away very suddenly 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so he passed away in January 2020. And this was just prior to pandemic, by the way. So it's like I flew home and then I flew back and then I just made it back. I literally made it again. I was like, okay, I need to come back. I need to come back home. And then I came back, and then like I think 3 weeks later the border shut. So very like, it was just chaos, you know, like.
It would be.
Oh, life was just chaos at that moment. But yeah, I just went through like that year for me was just insane, you know. It was just chaos after chaos after chaos. And I just kind of felt within me. At the time I was working as a cafe manager for a lovely woman called Andrea. And she was just great as well. She was someone that really kind of showed me how to be a business owner, you know, like, but also, also in a kind of compassionate way. Not in a way of like, we need to, like, it was very much like, oh, okay, like, business is not going great. What can we do? Instead of it just like someone like shoving orders down your throat.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So yeah, so I learned a lot from her, and through that I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to start my own place. And because it was almost like, what is the next step for me? Because I am forever chasing growth. So it was like, I'm a Taurus.
Oh, yeah. You do. Yeah. Taurus, I love to like make things happen.
Most definitely.
But also lay down the roots. It's like permanent, stable.
Oh, and that's the thing, stability for me. And that's, I think, why previously I wanted to just like follow rules, because I was like, that ensures stability.
Yeah.
And I think when you're not following the rules, you feel it's a little bit chaotic, you know. But yeah, so that's basically how Sam was born.
So it's in his memory?
Yeah, it's in his memory, yeah.
Because the funny thing is,
yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, hit me. I know.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom's memory.
Yeah. I remember reading about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah. Way more common.
Oh, way more in common.
And so like seeing the journey of life and death, can I answer some questions?
Oh, yeah, hit me.
Because it was like pivotal for me. I think the lessons are grand. I would love your lessons. Like what did you find through your own journey, like seeing mental health? Facing it, how did you face it?
That for me was probably one of the hardest challenges for me, because I had never been so low, but also had to face the reality of feeling that low. I think a lot of the time prior to that, I might have had a low moment, but it was kind of like, I'd work to distract me, I had family to distract me. And also in my own brain, I'd just kind of tell myself, oh, it's not that bad, just keep pushing forward. But when you're faced with a death like that, and when again it's so sudden, it was very much like I actually had to sit and face reality of actually what is happening to me. Because it wasn't just brain, to my body, you know, like it was happening all over me, like
sleep,
eating, anything that it was awful. It was just like all consuming. And I think that was a moment where I was like, okay, no, I actually have to either speak to someone, or I have to see someone, I have to do something, because otherwise I just knew that in that capacity I wouldn't have lasted very long. You know, it was not a good moment for me. I was just very low. And so I sought out a lot of mental health guidance. I did counselling, I did therapy. I started journaling, I started meditating. And I think for me, the journaling and the meditating for me were game changers, because they were game changers because I kind of recognized that there's something within my realm of what I could actually do for myself, you know, and I think
without relying on someone.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the time when you're in a situation like that, I think for me, I just felt like I was so reliant on my therapist, that's so reliant on my partner at the time, and it was like I couldn't do anything for myself to make myself feel better. And then I started journaling, then I started meditating, and I was like, you know, it was a breath. It was a breath, and all I needed was a breath, you know? You don't need much at the moment.
The necessities of life become luxury, like sleeping and just a good meal and quiet.
Peace. And I think that's the thing, because your peace is so disturbed. So, yeah, for me, that's kind of how I was able to kind of come back to myself. It's taken me years. I'm still going through it now, you know, like it's a journey, you know, and I think grief is a huge journey. I think it's
always happening.
Oh, you know, and I think you think, okay, I've moved forward, and you do grow, but you always have the memory of the person you lost with you forever and always. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. And I think for me, in terms of opening Sam's, for me, that was a cathartic experience. That was a moment of kind of like, Dad, you are still here.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, you are still here in the space with me, helping me, also making my little toasties, making my little coffee, you know? So yeah, so that's kind of that journey. It was a big one.
Yeah.
It still is.
How would you say opening Sam's has like altered, what's it changed, and becoming your own businesswoman?
You know what? Sam's has changed a lot. It's changed the way that I do life.
Yeah.
And it's changed the way that I look at life. It also it's changed the way that I look at people as well. You go, in the good and the bad.
See it all.
You see it all. You see everyone in their glory and their not so glorious moments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it changed a lot for me. And I guess I wasn't even sure of what I was doing when I opened.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even sure where I was going, or I wasn't even sure what I was even doing it for. I think the moment I did it, it was like, oh, okay. And the moment I started to like have like really beautiful moments with people, because my first year of business, I will say, was not profitable at all. It wasn't like a business, you know? But the moments I shared with people, the people I met, I cannot tell you, first year, how many times I cried in that cafe to customers, where we'd just be talking, and we'd just be telling our stories, and we'd just all be in tears. And I'm like, what kind of business have I opened? Where everyone's just crying and look like, you know, I haven't seen it cry. Oh my God, both. It was very like, it was therapy. And it was therapy for a lot of people, because they'd come, they'd read the story, and they would not necessarily ask me questions, but just like ask me about how I'm doing and how I am. And that always opens a kind of voices. How are you? But it was beautiful, honestly. I think that first year reminded me as to why I opened. And I think it solidified what I wanted to do in that space, which was just create a space for people to feel seen, heard and loved, and also just be inclusive. Like, you don't have to be a top brow, this, that and the other person. You can just come, hang, read a little book, you know, like, and just feel like you can be yourself without anyone judging you or anyone having any expectation of you, you know? And I think that for me was very, very important, because I think a lot of times we go through life with everyone thinking you should do this or do that. And I think you could take 5 minutes to yourself, no expectation, a nice cup of coffee, and just sit and be.
And how would you say you create it? Like, how do you create inclusivity, and how do you create that like feeling of you're all welcome?
I think be welcoming. I think first of all, I think it has to start from you as a human being. It can't be like, oh, this is kind of a thing that I want to do, but this is the implement. It has to be natural. Yeah. Like, you actually have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then your staff.
Oh yeah. So they are, everyone I've hired, I would say, has had like an energy about them. They've had something about them where if I feel comfortable in your space, I can imagine that you would want to make everybody else feel comfortable. Yeah. And that is a really big thing for me. Just kindness, you know, because I think that is a big part of inclusivity, because I think sometimes when you do not feel included, it's because of fear, it's because someone has said something, it's because an environment has been created where you just don't feel like you have the space to express yourself. Whereas I think that the environment that we have created has just been an easy environment, you know, not too much work, not too much hustle and bustle, just like simple.
It's really cozy too.
Yeah, lots of plants. I love my plants.
Yeah, I like the jam.
Oh my god,
like
yeah.
homemade
Just
jam.
just homey, you know, it just feels like you are at home, and I think that for me is a massive part of feeling included, feeling like you belong, you know, because you feel like you're at home.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
What would you say is like was the hardest thing in this? So it's 3 years now. The first year sounds like was its own big.
Oh my god.
So tell me about it though. No idea. Nobody tells you A to Z. These are the steps to take. Why not? Why don't we have a business like?
Someone just telling you this sounds really hard.
Like, don't be fooled. Yeah, just being open to meet you actually, I think you need all these things, legislative and permits and like everything. And food especially.
Oh yeah, we had to have all this stuff done. And even when we were building the place, it was like, a fitting lady come in, like, that's not right, that's not right. And I'm like, I just want to some coffee and be nice to people. Like, leave me alone.
It's not that deep.
Oh, actually, but it is in the society, so, you know.
There's a lot of hurdles. Like, what would you say was your challenge and how did you overcome it? Or just like, even, it could be a mental and psychological, stamina.
Yeah, I think burnout for me, I think recognizing what that was and how that was affecting me, because the first year I opened, I was working 6 days a week in the shop, and then I'd do a day admin at home.
Of course.
So it's kind of like I never had any time off, and it was a really interesting moment for me where one day someone came in and I just recognized I wasn't being very nice to them.
Yeah.
And not that it was being mean, but I just wasn't being myself. And I was like, why do I feel like this? And I just couldn't get out of that funk. And I recognized I was just exhausted. I was so tired. Like, I'd just done 6 months of working 7 days a week, no time off, no time to rest, like no help.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know what, this is exhausting.
But it's not just opening. You're preparing to open 6 months before, right? Like all the work. So you open your business. Then you open your business.
And then it's
so
like...
you've already done a year.
6 months in, it's worth of work, yeah. And also within that, like, 6 months of working 7 days a week, you're probably working for like two people.
Of
you know?
course. And there's so many roles.
And that's what it was. It was I only had help on Saturdays. So every day I'd go in there, I'd be alone from morning to night. Yeah, dim everything. And so there'd be moments where I'd be like crazy busy and I'd be like trying to, it was, I think that was my biggest challenge. But also, yeah, recognizing burnout, but also recognizing what I am capable of giving. That was a big thing for me, because I think when you talk about a kind, inclusive, amazing space, I felt like for that I had to be on all of the time, and that is impossible. I recognize that I am a human being too, and me, a person, what? You know, oh my god. It was a realization though.
Yeah,
I had to
until you think you can do it.
You can do it all. Because I also have to kind of take a step back and look at it in another way, because I think for me, I had to be like, okay, if my sister was doing this, if my mum was doing this, if my best friend was doing this, what would I be telling them? Yeah. You know? I'd be like, please take a break, take some time. What can I do to help you? Like, how can I alleviate this for you? And so I just had to like put things in place. So I wasn't working all the time, and that when I came to work, I was showing my best self, because that's what I wanted to give to people. And it's not all the time, but I just recognized I need rest and I need to take time. And I think business-wise, as soon as you're able to do that, grab that opportunity and run.
It's like a newborn baby.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. What would you say like some of those things were? What were some of the things you put in place to get yourself in position to rest?
Hired staff. That was number one.
But you have to be in a position to do that.
And I think
you can't just do it.
You can't just do it. And I think
you can't be like, oh, by the way, I can't pay you.
I've got
like, new business, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I think that was a really kind of, it was an interesting time because there was a few months there where I was like, okay, I could possibly afford to have someone in, but maybe I couldn't, and honestly, that has been the business up until probably like a year ago, where I was like, actually, no, I can have these people in place and it's consistent enough that I can just have people. But before that, it was literally just trusting myself or trusting the environment and the people around me that they will continue to go. Yeah. Because before that, it was like, okay, I'm gonna hire this person and I'm just gonna have to wait and see. You know, it was like, oh gosh. But then also what I implemented, I started doing more exercise, which I didn't have time to do before. I had no time. So it was like, I'd come back from work and eat and sleep. And that was me for 6 months. Yeah. 6 months, 1 year, basically. Started doing more exercise. Started taking care of my body. So I started doing sauna, which was amazing.
It is a game changer.
Oh yeah, and started getting massages.
Game changer.
Massages honestly changed my life.
Anything that wants to be successful in life, absolutely. Like massage,
I get one
therapy. Yeah, I'm still on like a little budget, but like once a month, and once I'm like it's like weekly.
I've made honestly. Once I get to weekly, I've made it.
That's it.
But there was actually a moment there where I was just going weekly because I was like, my body was just so tense, you know, and therapy was huge as well. So it was kind of like implementing things that were good for my body, but also things that were good for my mind, because that just allowed me to fully rest. I also did some reading, and I can't remember where I read this, but it was basically around what is rest for you, you know, because I think rest for everyone can be different. Some people rest is like lying down on the beach. Some people's rest is laying in bed. Some people's rest is being in a bathtub. You know, everybody's rest looks different. Yeah. And so I had to figure out, actually, in these moments, when am I the most relaxed? You know, when am I the most at rest? And it has to be like conscious. I think you have to be conscious about, I am resting now. And actually, the phone is off. This is off, that is off. I am now dedicating this time to me because I deserve it to rest. And that, for me, game changer. Absolutely.
What was your thing? What was your race that you started? You know, they cured me. So
oh my God, so good.
I had a ritual like every Friday bath, every ritual plus extra on Sunday. But the moment of letting go and actual like somatic release. Yeah.
Just literally getting into that water and just being.
Yeah, and I'd meditate in there.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. And I think I've like conquered world peace at the moment in that bathtub.
Absolutely.
You know?
That was all my problems.
bathtub.
And then when I moved to an apartment with no bathtub, I literally was like contemplating, like, I can't move to this house. I have one now.
Oh my God, I was about to say, I was like, come over to my house anytime there's a bathtub.
I actually had made a little booking system with my sister. I was like, I'm going to come for a bath. Yeah, I had to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my therapy.
But it is. And it's like once a week for me as well.
Yeah.
And water, I think I recognize the importance of water in like, oh my gosh, even going for a swim.
Yeah.
And just floating.
Yes.
And just being in the ocean was just like, you know, so lovely. See, so relaxed.
What would you say is like that, how do you see success? What is success for you now?
I think success for me can like be a lot of different things. I think success in one part is the power to make a choice. And I think for me, that was a really big thing in my business. When I actually had the power to be like, I do not want to work right now. I felt very successful.
I get you so much.
But also not even just choice in business, but just choice in life. I think success for me is when I am able to be like, okay, this is how I want to consciously live. Because not everyone gets that. No. Not everyone is allowed to make that type of choice. Yeah. People all around me can't make that type of choice. They have to do the. They can't just kind of go through life in this kind of.
Or another perspective is, are they choosing to go through life? Because you still made a choice to do the route that you're choosing for the freedom and the success that you call success, which is freedom of choice.
Yeah.
But I think there's choices here to go through that, and then there's choices that you've made, but it's just your choice and more liberating.
Yes, and I think that kind of freedom, I think that's what comes with choice, is freedom. You know, it is liberating, it's amazing. So yeah, I would definitely say success is that, and also I think success is like contentment. You know when you just kind of, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I might not be.
I have it all though.
Yeah, literally, I have all that I need here with me in this brain, and I think that is for me like being content, and like not waking up thinking like, oh no, because I've got this to do and this to that, and stressing out about life. Just being able to be present and be in the moment, and again, it's a choice, you know. And I think not everyone chooses that route, but I think for me, in terms of success, having choice and definitely just contentment, you know. And I think that for me is success in my life right now, definitely.
What would be something that you've done to bring yourself in this position that you can, maybe suggest to someone to do to get them in a successful, and success by your definition is choice making, freedom of choice. What can someone do, and my question, what can someone do to get themselves more freedom of choice? What did you do?
I would say what someone could do is listen to themselves a bit more, be a bit more attuned to what it is you want, you know? Because I think for me, the thing that guided me and got me here wasn't, okay, I really want to have 7 businesses by this age, or it wasn't like I really want to be at an X amount of money. It was actually just, I want to find contentment and happiness within myself. And I think like listening to that part of me and going along with that, I think for me that was the thing that has brought contentment, and it has brought me to a stage where I do have choice. So listening to yourself, but also not letting like whatever is happening around you affect the choice that you're actually making, you know? Which is hard, it's really difficult.
If there's chaos around you, to still have inner choice and
just know that you are allowed to make your own choice, because I think that's huge as well. I mean, when I was making choices, even making choices to move to Australia, like my whole family were like, what are you doing? And I'm Nigerian background, like we stick around family, you don't go anywhere, like you do what the family want, you know? And I think,
did you fight out that?
I was like,
oh wow. After they were like, no.
They weren't, no. So my family have always been really understanding. They have, I would say, probably more than the average Nigerian household. But there was still, they allowed me, but there was still questioning. There was still, I guess, not understanding. But for me, I couldn't pay attention to that. I had to like know what my own personal truth was and actually go with that, instead of being like, okay, actually, because dad said this, the mum said this, and sister said this, or friends have said this, or this person said this, or what am I doing? Like, because I left a pretty good job in London and moved here and was working as a waitress, and my parents were like, you just went to uni for however many years and you had a really good job, and now you're a waitress in Melb. And it was like, my choice made no sense to them. But I was like, I made the choice,
What was that inner calling? What was that telling?
I think it was, I honestly think it was a lot to do with community, and I think it was a lot to do with, I don't know, making my own voice heard. I wasn't doing it to be stubborn or to be this or to be that. It was actually because I knew there was something. There was something there. There was something there, and I knew it wasn't in my career in London. I knew it wasn't at home. I knew it wasn't there. I just knew that I had to grow, and I needed an environment to be able to handle that type of growth. And I just knew that couldn't have happened where I was.
What was the catalyst now, like, from that growth, coming here, achieving the success? And success for you is that freedom of choice, and you've got all of this. What's the next? As you said, you always want to keep growing. What's the next?
I think, creating another space, because I think Sam's is really good and it's got its own legs now and it can run and it can walk and it can talk. It's a fully grown baby that can do its own thing. Basically an adolescent, you know? And it's doing what it needs to do here.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that I would like to kind of go a bit more forward and maybe just create another type of space. And definitely in modes of hospitality, it will be maybe some form of bar restaurant, maybe something that nods to my heritage, you know, like, but I definitely want something maybe a bit bigger, just to be able to welcome more people, just to be able to create a different type of environment. Because I think for me, it's easing, I don't want to say easing loneliness, but in a way, yes, for other people. Because I think that in the society we live in right now, a lot of people are alone. They're by themselves. And when you go into a coffee shop and someone's like, hey, please hear the smell, wants you to be there. And like I said before, like just 5 minutes of that can change someone's whole day, change someone's week, change someone's few months. And I think that for me is, creating a similar space, but maybe slightly larger.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what's holding you back? You've already done it this way, and you can use that as the next stepping stone. And what about the growth for you? What does that look like? What's your ambition in your own growth?
Growth for me, I think, will be maybe just coming a little bit more back to self. Because I think the past couple of years it has been like, man, I've created these really lovely routines, but I would like to just, be able to kind of growth, like next step would just to be able to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that is it. Like, it's not, I don't need to accomplish anything. I just need to be able to sit and actually enjoy the fruits of my day, you know? So I think that would be great.
I'm so looking forward to that. It's like, I see a future and in this symbiotic kind of parallel universe running alongside you. I can see that 2-year mark is still unsure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. I was still in this kind of headspace of where is this actually going? And also doubt. Self-doubt for me, I think, was a huge thing. Imposter syndrome, as we like to call it now. But 2 years in, I was like, I've made it this far, but is this actually still a viable business?
Huge. I'm worried about that because I feel like I've faced that recently in the 2-year mark. No, just give it up now. You've already done it for this long.
Why are you still doing this? Why are you still doing this? Are you enjoying it?
Are you okay?
Why?
Mostly you're doing things at absurd hours. You're giving up relationship,
Giving it a lot of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
And so then you push through. Did you push through? You obviously.
Yeah, I pushed through here right now.
What? Stand here. Alive. What would you say was the thing that kept you going? How did you push through?
I think I pushed through just through determination, but also through not wanting to let myself or the community down. You know, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, and as much as I'm light-hearted about it, I did exceptionally, as yourself, work exceptionally hard. So I just the thing that really got me through was honestly prioritizing my own personal well-being, but then also trying to be who I could to everybody else at that same time, but still prioritizing myself. And I think that is really, really important. But 2-year mark was really am I doing the right thing? But I guess one of the things I also recognized was that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm probably always going to ask myself that question. And I think when you just accept that and just know that actually this is going to be kind of a constant thing, and it's actually something that I should work on. You know, where is this coming from? You know, and I think even with my therapist at the moment, that is honestly a big thing that we're working on is, Mary, why are you so hard on yourself? Why am I so hard on myself? And we're going back years and years and years, and we're unpicking that and actually learning, I'm hard on myself because X, Y, and Z. And I guess pushing through, but not in a way that's detrimental to yourself, in a way that makes you feel good, in a way that you still come into work every day and you still feel happy. Because there was also moments where I was I'm gonna be honest, there were moments where I was the like anger was starting to seep in. I was just like, why am I doing this? This is so taxing, and I'm like not getting anything back from it. Like again, sacrificing relationships, sacrificing my own personal like financial, everything.
And that's why it's like stuck, you know, because you're just like, oh, I'm giving and I have nothing else to
not
give.
receiving, but. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, relate.
Yeah, I think purpose, always remembering purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Always remembering.
Yeah. What would you say your purpose is while we're here?
Oh, I think my purpose is to bring people together.
Yeah.
I think my purpose is to ease loneliness. My purpose is to, create community. I think my purpose is to just be a facilitator of that, you know? Just be part of it. I don't have to be the main thing, but just bring.
And it helps also, like, you've got that personal, sentimental Sam's Cafe.
Yeah, I think, that's like, huge.
Yeah,
Connecting to people.
Puts pressure, and you're like, I can't shut down and legacy all night.
I can't let my father down. That's huge. Oh yeah, because I was like, if I'm just gonna shut this place down,
That sounds a normal way.
it's not like it's actually like it's almost more shutting your heart down. You know, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. What would you say? You know, this is an interesting question I heard the other day, and it was like, how do you think you are being used in this life? Like your experiences, your traumas, your basically your life journey. What do you think your use in this life is? What are you using those things? Like, you know, some people come from domestic violence and they use that to kind of build and strengthen, harmony in relationships. Help a woman.
I would say it is to be a mirror and also I don't know, I'm probably gonna not find the right word now, but like just a point of reference for little brown girls, little black girls to be like, oh, someone did something a little bit different, they're successful, they're happy, you know? And I think for me, with all the past trauma, with all the childhood issues, it's like knowing that you can go through in life. You can go through so much in life and still come out okay. You know, you can still better, you know, that you can, and also that you can go on your own journey. It doesn't have to be everybody else's too. And I hope that for me, just being a person that has done that and like letting other little girls see that and just understand and know that like it's possible. Like you don't have to sit within your trauma, you don't have to sit within your sadness. You can actually come out of it, and actually from sadness, Sam's can come something really beautiful and really successful. So I think that's kind of where I feel I'm called into, you know?
Yeah. I would love, I mean, I'm just looking forward to and loving the journey already. Hopefully, in the short time that we've 3 years is just a short time. In a short time, you have made moves. I tried. 3 times in a row you have committed, and like that's the first 3 shots. Imagine the 20th shot. You know how good your arms. You're probably like. I look forward to that. To this, and I really hope that the driving force to our conversation helps so many people find their wholeness and their fullness and their success, and the definition is defined literally by yourself. And all you have to do is, like as you said, listen to that inner voice, find the purpose. I mean, so many things that we could say, but is there anything that we've left that's important to say?
I just think, just trust yourself. And I think that in itself is a journey. But take that journey, and fear will come. Fear always comes, but just always like sit with yourself and love yourself. Be kind to yourself. You're a great person. You know? That is a massive thing, I think. And I don't practice it all the time. But I try.
I hear you.
I try.
It makes a big difference. Like you just said, like trust yourself, sit with yourself, and love on yourself. These are the trifectas of getting out of that rut. Because I think business for me, and the essence of it, like that I've learned, is such a psychological thriller. Like you literally wake up and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to face today or what has to be resolved and what scale that entails. And then you just kind of go through, and it's like the endurance. I don't think we talk enough. We talk about the hustle. We don't really talk about like the hardship and coming and facing it day after day after day, every day.
But then what I will say to you though is that passes.
Yeah.
And I think,
thank God,
dude, see, it does. It passes because I'm at a stage of my business now where, like, and also I think people, I'm just going to add that into the mix. Yeah. Because I think for me, the team that I have at the moment, they are just so good at what they do that I don't have to, there were moments, second year, first year, anytime I had other staff on, where it's like I'd wake up and I'd check my phone and I'd be like, what's happened today? And it would just be panic. Yeah. So I wake up now, I'm just dilly dallying because I trust them. Yeah. And I trust them to do their job and to admit the things that I want them to admit to my customers, you know, and I think that's probably been one of the biggest things of me not waking up in a panic anymore, not worrying about what I'm going to face. You know, that has been...
They can handle the
strong
personality.
They're strong personality. And also they're just kind people. And good people, really, really good people that just want the best for you, the best for me, the best for their community and their environment.
It's a game changer.
And I think that is huge.
Yes, I agree. Even in our own AYG experience.
Yeah.
When people just pull up and they mean well, and it's just integral to who they are. They're not really, it's not the money, it's not the thing.
No, they just want to
be good for you.
Yeah, and it's really nice. Oh my God, they're the best people.
I think one key thing for good success is definitely the collaboration. So networking of the people and the environment you stimulate yourself with day after day after day, if they are like the harmony and the peace and the integrity of a human being that is nice and kind, you're like, I got this. Like, at least if that's all caught on fire, these people got
these guys have got my back.
They already got a place ready to go. They're on it, you know. But yeah, I wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on here.
I just want to say that we don't really know what we're gonna do, but I can say that we're trying our hardest, and we'll keep trying.
Keep trying, and I've no doubt you will succeed. Absolutely no doubt you will succeed. All of us together.
I know, as long as we answer the calling of our soul. Amen. Shall we?
Thank you.
Close it with a hug. Yeah.
Proud of you. Proud of you too. Well done. Well done.
That's so Seva. I think we just need support in all the things that we do, and there's so many people that can support in so many ways. I think it's like more than just monetary. I think it's like talk about the things that happen in our community, talk about the things that we maybe get involved
and also just network with, like you said earlier, network with other people. Talk about, actually, this is what's really hard for me, and don't be embarrassed about that, because actually sometimes people have amazing solutions that you might have not thought of, you know.
Ask for help.
Yeah,
one thing I need to the podcast.
That's another day.
Thank you so much. See you again. Soul Seva signing out. Hey.